officially welcome us all. This is such a beautiful time to come together. I appreciate Barbara again providing this forum, this space for us to come and share what I feel is vital life information about the cosmos and about the earth and us. So without further ado, I want to take us back 4 days to September 25th, because that was the new moon in Libra. Now the new moon, even though we're in Scorpio, the moon is actually in Scorpio today until midnight, and then it goes to Sagittarius. So the Scorpio moon, we feel very deeply. So we're probably all feeling something very deeply right now. Things are coming up, maybe something's been triggered. But 4 days ago, this is the new moon, the template. So why is the new moon so important? The new moon provides the template for the whole month. So the new moon is like a picture, and that the month is flavored, is actually moves from that picture, from that configuration. So that's why we put so much emphasis on the new moon, and also the time of planting seeds and making intention. Of course, we always, at the new moon, we look at what is this moon? It's a Libra new moon. The sun, the moon are together at 2 degrees. 2 degrees is a very early degree. So this is a young new moon. And there's a lot of fresh energy in this new moon that we can tap into. Now, this time is loaded with lots of different energetics. So let's just mention what a few of those are. By the way, I just want to celebrate that the Libra new moon that happened 4 days ago. I'm celebrating that the planet Venus, which is the planet of Libra, ruling the sign of Libra, today went into its own sign of Libra. So the sun is in Libra, the moon was in Libra for the new moon, and today Venus, the goddess of love, of beauty, of money, of abundance, of resources, is in her own sign of Libra. Why am I emphasizing this? Any planet in its own sign is powerful, is super powerful, is fully expressing its power, because that's what it's comfortable. Libra, the sign of Venus is comfortable in, the planet Venus is comfortable in Libra, its own sign. And so what does that mean for the next month that Venus is going to be in Libra? Is going to be this accessible realm of balance, of ease, of harmony, of relationship, of diplomacy, of all of the blessings of the goddess in the sign of Libra. She brings us this ability to kind of bridge the opposites within and without. So I consider this to be a most fortunate time because of that. And also because of the new moon and the sun starting us off in Libra for this month. Libra is the sign of love, ruled by Venus. So this is a time to contemplate, what do we love? What fills us? What do we feel fed and nurtured and like yummied by? There's a feeling of luxury when Venus is in Libra. There's a feeling of abundance. The queen is in her high court, and she's got everything abundantly available to her, and she shares it abundantly with everyone because as the queen, she is the servant of humanity. That is the ultimate purpose of the queen. And the king archetypes is to serve, and that's the sun. In everyone's chart, the sun is the server of humanity. And that's just by sharing your gifts and your light. So this month we get to share our gifts of love, and no act is too small. It's really quite beautiful what this month holds in terms of heart availability. You know, with Mercury is still in Virgo retrograde. So we're still in this interior journey, right? That we've been in for almost 3 weeks. October 2nd, so that's only 3 days, Mercury stations direct in Virgo at 24 degrees. Any planet that stations direct or retrograde is extra potent, extra powerful. So we have a time where the goddess Venus is in her own splendor in Libra and really, really enjoys love and relationships and connecting, and even like connecting deeply to one's own being, you know, making space. That's the ultimate of Libra, is that inner marriage that I've spoken about in the past, that some may remember. So it is an internal time. So even though Libra, the sign of social and connect and, you know, talk to people and make plans, and important plans, not frivolous plans, even though that's in the air until October 2nd, and a few days after, we're still going to be in this internal process with Mercury opposing Neptune, exactly. And then in a few days, Mercury trining Pluto. We're in a time of really sussing out what's true and what's not, what's real for us and what's not. We may during this time have exposed some delusion or some fantasy that we've had, that we see the reality of it, like boom. So with Mercury in Virgo, it's a very precise mind. It's a very, very deep seeing mental investigation. And opposing Neptune is kind of showing us, what are our dreams? Have they come true? Are they still relevant? We may feel at this time some disappointment. I know many people who feel like a disappointment that certain dreams, certain plans, things they really wanted didn't happen, haven't happened yet, or didn't happen the way they wanted it to happen yet. That could happen. But really, it's time to get clear on what our best use of this opposition is, to ask ourselves, what are our dreams that are realistic? Neptune and Pisces can really be out there. You know, we dream of utopia, we dream of community, and yet we stay at home, you know, playing with our dogs. And I'll speak for myself. And that utopia remains a, you know, a thought and something that someone else does. So now is the time to just be honest. Pluto in aspect to Mercury wants a deep, honest, there's like this expression I use with Pluto and Mercury, ruthless honesty, ruthless honesty. We look at what our dreams are, what they were in the past. Are they still relevant? Do we need to let go? With the moon in Pluto right now, with the moon in Scorpio right now, ruled by Pluto, now is a good time to let go of any dreams, any ideas, any relationships, any things that just aren't working out. And we know when it just isn't right, and we're trying to make something work that has totally outdone itself, you know, it's gone. So at this time, we can really offer ourselves that gift. What needs to go? And Scorpio has to do with relationships, and it also has to do with money and financial ties. We notice, for any of us who pay attention to the stock market, who have, anything in it, we notice it's tanking right now. And this was actually, seen in astrological, in the square between Saturn and Uranus that I've been speaking about since I've been speaking on this Zoom call. So right here we are 5 days from it's going to be as exact as it will be before they start to part ways for at least 28 years. So we are in the thick of it right now in terms of this contest, this conflict, this tension, inner and outer, between the old and the new, the past and the future, control and freedom. This is the showdown right now. And for us to keep choosing Uranus, Uranus is the planet to choose because Uranus is conjunct the North Node, our destiny. So we are meant to go into the future. We're meant to change. We're meant to let go. We're meant to allow ourselves to be radically moved into a new place, into a new state of consciousness, a new state of being, a new state of life, of living. And again, the words are simplicity, are security, safety, community. Make sure we have what we need, that we have access with friends and neighbors to essentials. As these systems break down, we don't know if we're going to have a month or 2 months without groceries, without certain necessities. So it's good to have, like, on your shelf, like a month of something you like, in cans or canisters, because this is something we can see this in the next few months. The astrology points to a quickening of the breakdown. This is the second year of the United States Pluto return. You might recollect that I've spoken about it in the past because it started in 2021. This is 2022, 2023, it will end. So again, we're in the throes of this Pluto return. Pluto in Capricorn, 26 degrees Capricorn, 246-year cycle from our birth, 1776, until now. What does Pluto in Capricorn do? It creates a death to a structure, a government, a system, and then it allows for a rebirth according to a whole new set of principles. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're in. And we're in the messy part now. This is getting messier. So we have to have the stomach and the understanding. First, the understanding that we are in this messy time where things aren't working well. And we shouldn't be shocked if the stock market continues to drop. We continue to see whole new ways of revenue commerce connecting, whether it's through internet, new e-commerce. I know Bitcoin really took a hit, but that's possible. We're looking at new ways of interacting monetarily, and the old system is falling. So do I recommend people getting out of the stock market? I actually do. And just sit with that. Everybody has to be, I know the stock market is for the future, right? You're in it for the long run. That's what my husband tells me. And I tell him, get out, get out now. We'll see if he listens. But we are in for some financial hard times. October, November. These are the major themes. the financial systems are transforming. They are undergoing big systemic changes. There's health challenges and revolutions. Now that's personal health. And that's also, we can see wonderful inventions. I know Barbara Slane has access to a remarkable technology. I think it's called Chiron or Chiron.
Chiron.
And it's spelled.
It's a CHIREN. It's a biophoton light machine. And it's one of the things that is good, definitely.
So we are in the time of these technologies, these light technologies, these frequency technologies that are meant to restore health to our bodies and health to the earth. These wonderful technologies actually help our own physiology and the earth's physiology to come back into balance. So it's really everything affects everything, and our consciousness, what we do affects our Mother Earth. That is our true relationship to Earth. She's not just something. And I think everyone on this line knows that. So I feel like I'm preaching to the choir here, but just for the record, she's not just something that we kind of sit on or stand on or eat off of or live off of. She is a sentient being who is so generous in how she provides for all beings that inhabit her. And to have that reverence during this time with the North Node in Taurus is appropriate. To have that reverence for our Earth and care for her, care for our bodies in a reverent way as well, because this is the temple, our temple of the spirit, and the earth is the temple of the earth, the spirit of the earth. This is it's all life, it's all spirit incarnate, just in different forms. So the more that we are understanding about the under earth, right? The networks, the mycelial networks, like those webs of communication between trees and how they extend for miles and miles, and they help ailing trees, and they listen and get information, and so smart. This earth is so smart, and we are so smart. Our innate knowing, our innate animal nature, as Mary Oliver so beautifully says, our soft animal nature, something like that. But to really honor that, our needs, our desires, our wildness. Now, if you haven't done anything to bring out the wildness or to satisfy the wildness in us, in you, please think of something in this month. Now, Venus in Libra, even though it's a very socially adept sign and planet and sign, there's also a wildness. Over the years, through patriarchy, the goddess has become distorted, everyone knows, in all sorts of ways. And Venus was considered the most powerful goddess, more powerful than any male god. And so Venus in any sign is powerful. In her own signs of Taurus and Libra, she's extra powerful. So we don't want to just stay at the surface level of nicey-nicey with Venus and Libra. Oh, is that good for you? That's good for me. That's good for me. That's good for you. La, 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 la. That's the tendency with Libra, is always looking for the balance, even though it may compromise some deeper necessity of a conversation or of an expression of truth. So during this time, please use the energy of Venus in Libra to get in touch with the wild body, you know, the animal body, the one that doesn't think, the one that doesn't cogitate, the one that doesn't drive us crazy, and go deeper and put on some beautiful music, some evocative music, whatever music that touches you. And I recommend movement. I recommend allowing the body to move as it wants to, and allow it, you know, think setting it free. Ultimately, Venus in Libra and Uranus in Taurus want us to be free in our bodies. These goddess, God, planets, archetypes within us and without really are looking for our freedom. And we talked about that last time. And I remember Maria made a great point about, you know, what kind of freedom, freedom of consciousness. And it's really freedom from suffering, freedom from our own persistent, aggravating patterns that create our suffering. Again, rarely is it something outside of ourselves that creates ongoing suffering. You know, we may feel something in the moment, something happens to someone gets sick, someone dies, of course. But when we have an ongoing, persistent suffering, it's usually our own minds. So at this time, getting in touch with the deeper, wild, animal, feminine nature, and letting her inform every cell of our being, letting her move us. And for those who have any kind of artistic interest, art, drawing, clay, anything that uses, you know, the hands to create, this is a beautiful time for that. Again, just allow the wildness. This is not a time to make an ashtray or a vase. You know, this is time to make some kind of a vessel that just expresses your deepest desires or your deepest secrets or your deepest shame. You know, I talk about the North Node in Taurus a lot because, of course, it is important, but it's also the South Node in Scorpio that is equally important. And I don't think I do it justice. So I want to take a moment and give it some spotlight, especially since our moon now is in Scorpio. So the South Node in Scorpio, and for until next July 2023, opposite the North Node. They always travel in pairs. They're opposite exactly. The South Node in Scorpio is a need to work out the old, you know, we all have them, these old patterns that they just keep persisting. They just like, I thought I was done with that. And somebody says something and boom, there it is. Or something happens and boom, we're in it again, or it's up again. With the South Node in Scorpio, during this next period of time until next July, we have the opportunity of really transforming these age-old, these lifetime persistent patterns that keep us down, that keep us from knowing our freedom, from knowing ourselves as limitless, really cosmic, spiritual beings that don't have, you know, we don't really have a beginning or an end, where we've always been. That's the essence of who each one is, what every sentient being is. So that's the opportunity of connecting to the reality of who we all are. And as a bonus, then why we're here. Because really, when we know who we are, then what we're here to do really just comes naturally from that. So this time, while being challenging and how shall I say, exhausting, frustrating, um, aggravating, patience necessitating, forbearance necessitating. I mean, we really like have to show up during these times, I feel, of, you know, where many of us are being stretched. It's like, really? We have this now? Our plates feel full, and then there's something else and something else. And being able to let go and relax and say, okay, so I have this to deal with, but in this moment, how are things? And what I've learned with a new puppy that I mostly care for, because my husband is a very busy man, is that I rest deeply in moments. I will rest deeply in 10-minute increments. I will close my eyes, put my hand on my heart, other hand on my belly while she's napping, or I put her in her crate, or she's just relaxing. And I just rest too. And today I put my head, I recommend this greatly. I put my head on one of those stillness inducers, those occipital ridge, thingies. They're like two humps, and you can buy them. I have it's blue foam, and you can also take 2 tennis balls, put them in a sock, put them together, and then rest your occiput, the back ridge of your head and neck area. Just rest that comfortably there. And I found doing that for 10 minutes today completely like opened up all this congestion that I was feeling here. So it's so just taking the time of listening, what do I need right now in this moment, and restoring, and then being ready. So, there's 2 oppositions happening in this new moon. I talked about the Mercury-Neptune one. The other one is the new moon and the sun opposing Jupiter. And that's in Libra, Aries. And there is this tug of me versus you. What I want and what you want. What I need and what you need. And we could feel some real frustration in that. The beauty is, with all of this Libra energy, and now with the goddess herself, Venus, in the sign of Libra for the next 30 days or so, we can more easily access the balance and say, you know what? I can do this for my beloved or for a friend, or I can do this, and then tomorrow I'm taking the day for myself. And make it conscious. If we don't make it conscious, with Mars in Gemini for now 7 months, we have a 7-month stint, the planet of action in the sign of Gemini, which is let's do this, let's do that, let's go here, let's go there. Oh, this is interesting. This is more interesting. We can literally feel like we are running ragged from the sheer nature of all there is to do. So I recommend setting time for oneself. Set a day, if one can, call it the Sabbath. Call it a day of retreat. Call it a day of radical self-care and self-love. And that's how we do it. We fill up and then we're available. And we make that conscious choice to be available. Not to just do it because we have to, because then there could be resentment there, right? So it's important to have intentional choice. I'm doing this for me now or tomorrow. I'm doing this for you now or tomorrow because I love you and I care for you. I'm making you dinner. I'm doing this. And we put our hearts in it. If we can put our hearts in it, we can tap into such a beautiful stream of love. There's just this beautiful stream of Libra, Venusian love that is available for each one of us to tap into, personally and with others, and also the world. This is a beautiful time to send love to the world. You know, as we fill up our own cups. In Buddhism, it's interesting, as we do Tonglen or different practices of compassion, we often start with ourselves, and we offer ourselves the love and compassion, because as Westerners, we need it. All of us, many of us, most of us have a real issue with self-love. You know, we're not raised to think we deserve it. We often have had very, traumatic childhood situations or difficult parents, families. We all know. So it is important to honor that and to hold whatever comes up. With the South Node in Scorpio, we don't want to suppress. I say, open to your dreams, as my dear sister Phyllis the other day did beautifully and recollected a very, I feel, important dream. With Neptune opposite Mercury, each in their own sign, strong, we get to see more clearly. Oppositions often let us see something more clearly because, oh, it's over there. It's not so close. Often the closer something is, the harder it is to see. So we're able to see what's there and take a good look. So this is the time, with the next few days, Mercury retrograde. I would say if you can do some retreat the next few days, please do. And honor whatever it is that you're needing to. Mercury is with trine Pluto is saying there are some very important issues we need to look at and restructure regarding health, regarding work, regarding money, and regarding relationships. And regarding the systems of our day-to-day. Virgo is our day-to-day structure. So now is the time to really consider, what isn't working? You know, that hour that I spend, blah, blah, get rid of it. And instead, I'm going to sit and breathe and just watch the trees and be and honor my wild feminine nature and dance and chant and sing and roar. Whatever it is that stirs you. This new moon, the 2-degree Libra, it's somewhere in your charts. So if I know your charts, I know exactly where it is. And depending on what house it's in, that's where that new beginning wants to happen. So if anyone wants to know, let me know and I'll tell you, especially if I know your charts, and I know quite a number of yours. But it is helpful to know what house it's in, because then you're able to more specifically target your intentions. But it's really enough now, knowing the astrology of this new moon, to target the intentions around your relationships and around balance. This is what Libra does best. It's the scales, right? Brings the balance. So what needs balancing? And let it be a dynamic, adapting, flexible. Why I love movement. Oof, boy, does that need some move. Why I better walk my talk here. It allows for this like coming out. A lot of the musculature, the habitual musculature that we have keep certain emotions in, keep certain memories down, keep certain thoughts down. And when we open this up, we open up our whole emotional, physical, spiritual, mental system. And we open it up, and that's what Scorpio wants. Scorpio, South Node in Scorpio wants us to open it up, flush it out, bring our awareness, bring our consciousness, bring our intention for healing into every single triggering Scorpio moment. If we can remember our intention for healing and bringing balance, and holding that space for whatever comes up, we will use this time wisely so that when the North Node and South Node shift in next July, as they do every 18 months, and they go backwards. So they're going to go into Aries and, Aries and Libra. Oh, that'll be nice. Very interesting. For the time being, we have this momentum. So that's what's important about this whole astrological time, is that we have this momentum to do certain things, to really let go, to see, and not to continue to repress. So I have been saying for months, this is the time to do any kind of therapeutic process. I know many people are offering like 8-week courses on mindfulness and yoga and anything. Whatever you feel compelled to do, it's a beautiful time to commit to that kind of a practice, that kind of a program, because it's a commitment to your own self, development, your own health, which is what Virgo, the Mercury in Virgo, really wants you to get down your health routines, your food, when to eat, how much to eat, what to eat, when to go to sleep, how much you need to sleep. It's really honoring your body's needs. Well, here we are at this beautiful equinox time. This was the 23rd of September, 22nd, 23rd, autumn equinox. I would be remiss if I didn't remind us all that we have now shifted season. So we went from the time of even, dark, and light, right? From the spring equinox in March to June, the summer solstice, to September, the autumn equinox, equal light, dark. And now we all notice in the north, at least in the northern hemisphere, we all notice it's getting darker every day. So we are now heading into the time of the darkness. We're all feeling it. So what do I say during this time? I say, welcome it with open arms. Try not to fight that darkness, because the darkness is precious. The darkness is nothing to be afraid of. The darkness doesn't house the demons and the horrors that we're taught by fairy tales of patriarchal culture. The darkness is where everything is born. The darkness is where everything returns to. The darkness is where every creative impulse emanates from. The darkness is a necessary part of our psyche, of our being. So now is the time to relax and welcome the darkness. Again, through dreams, this Mercury Neptune, we can get some real clear dreams and new dreams for the future. Old dreams passing, new dreams arising. Honoring relationships and contracts, and honoring our own individual, yes, I want to learn this. I want to try this with Jupiter in Aries, right? So we're doing this really interesting balancing act. And then if we're needed by someone for a few days and we're feeling extra stretched, we say, I'm going to be a little bit flexible, adaptable, and go with it. And rest when I can, and know that this will pass, right? This is just a season. This is just a little cycle. And then take time for oneself. This is really what the message is: balance, balance, balance. And we can only know what that balance is for ourselves. The other thing to be aware of: seeking truth amidst a fog of confusion. That's the Neptune influence. It'll be happening for the next few months. So just understand that there's going to be more misinformation, more feeling of what's real, what's not, and continue to go in. I don't think we can go wrong as we cultivate the deeper listening. You know, we know our deepest wisdom is connected to all the wisdom that is, that all that is. So we know we're connected to that, that is our essence. So as we really, really use this time to turn in and listen and honor our knowing for ourselves, you know, we get help when we need it, but our knowing is what guides us. And that, I think, is going to be the key. Stay grounded, stay connected. I would say, don't freak out if things get crazier out there, because they probably will. And also what we see playing out on the world stage, this Saturn-Uranus square, freedom versus control. Saturn control, Uranus freedom. We see in Iran, women standing up to the, what do they call it, morality police, some ridiculous idea, some ridiculous oppressive regime. And the women, they're standing up, they're protesting, even in the face of death and jail and all sorts of persecution. They are standing up. We are going to see this revolutionary spirit, this protest getting stronger throughout this next year. People are just saying no more. And as the screws get tighter, there's going to be more of that, you know, we have to break free, which is why I have hope, even though things are kind of messy and going to be messy. I really do have hope that the forces of freedom, that the forces of wisdom, the forces of decency, of goodness, of love, of compassion, of care, really come through. That's the foundation that we build. We build it first in ourselves. We build it first in our lives, in our homes, with our friends, with our family, with our communities. And then it is built in the world. I mean, this is the Uranus, Aquarius. The Uranus rules Aquarius. We're in the Aquarius era. It's the ground floor up, right? We're not looking for the savior to come down and save us. I would love it. I would love it. I've been praying for decades. Like, come on down already and like save us from ourselves. But so I feel like maybe some have come down to help, and some maybe are even communicating and helping us. I think that is true. However, it is up to us. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. That is really the keynote in the age of Aquarius. Together, and we help one another, and we love one another, and we hold, and we hold one another. And that's how we build this new age. It's really very, very beautiful. So there's a need to unplug from the matrix. I am recommending that people become energy independent, not reliant on the grid. We see grids going down in Florida. What do they say? It's going to take a while to rebuild some of those grids. This is going to happen more and more. So however we can become independent, energy, financial, food, that we have enough food, exchange with others, really think about neighbors, friends, community. Anything else I would like to say before we close? I think I did everything. Very good. There are going to be a few eclipses coming up. Now, eclipses for astrologers are super important. And the reason is because they usually mark some kind of a watershed moment. Something happens. This happens, and then there's some kind of a big result. So we have here on October 25th, and there's a new moon. Our next new moon is going to be a partial solar eclipse in Scorpio. So that's intense. And then Mercury goes into Scorpio on the 29th of October. And then on election day in the United States, this is like such a beautiful Pluto return kind of thing. Perfect setup. On election day, November 8th, we are having a full moon, total lunar eclipse in, I think it's Taurus. It has to be, right? In Taurus, total lunar Taurus, total. So that could really portend some very, very interesting shifts because it's in Taurus and because it's near Uranus and the North Node. It is going to benefit us in terms of our destiny. The results of this election, based on this astrology, how I see it, will benefit our future, will benefit this Aquarian dynamic, this Aquarian need for equality, for humanitarianism, for compassionate care, for everyone having a true equal opportunity and money not being the god of everything. It's like, honestly, money is really going to change in this year and a half, I feel. And that's going to equalize us more, you know? That is not going to have maybe the same meaning that it did. So we're going to have to rely, and other things are going to be more important, as they really, really are. How is my